Thank you very much. I thought that was a rousing welcome. Yeah, I now invite. Okay. I now invite our conveners, Professor B. Vijaya, convener and also head of the Department of English, Osmania University, and Professor Parimala Kumar Kulkarni, convener, Chair Board of Studies, Department of English. Please come on to the dais, madam. I now invite our dear principal, Professor C. Kasim. Sir Kasim. Please welcome to the dais, sir. And I now invite our Vice Chancellor couldn't come, then our OSD, Professor Jitendra Naik is here. Please welcome to the dais, sir. I now invite our, yeah. Come here, they come here. Okay. I now invite our friends from Australia, Dr. Karen Dolin. Please welcome to the dais, sir. Okay. I now invite Professor Tony Hughes Daith, Chair of Australian Literature, University of Western Australia. Please welcome, sir. I now invite our Indian Tamil Dalit writer, Bama, well, widely known for Karukku. Madam, please. Okay. Okay. I now invite our guest of honor, Julie Johnson, Australian Aboriginal author. Please welcome, Madam. Okay, fine. Okay. I now invite our chief guest, Ms. Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate-General, Bengaluru. Please welcome, Madam. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I now invite Dr. B. Ashok, Deputy Convener, onto the dais. Sir, please welcome. Thank you, everyone. I'll now invite Professor Parvina Kulkarni, Chair Board of Studies in English, Osmania University, as well as the convener of this international conference. Please welcome, madams. She'll speak about ASAA and about the conference.
Good morning, everyone. It is really overwhelming, as Harriet and Julie said. Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, honored guests, esteemed colleagues, respected delegates from different parts of India, and my dear students and ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of shared purpose that I welcome you all to this inaugural session of the conference. At first, I wish to share with you the plural pasts that have shaped the present conference, and I'm sure will foster shared futures. Both individuals and institutions have contributed to this conference happening today. I should go back to the year 2011 when I first attended the 5th ASAA International Conference on Vanishing Borders in the Age of Globalism, Australasian Perspectives, and when I first became an ASAA member, and when I first saw Dr. Cynthia Vanden Drissen. Professor Vijayashree of Osmania University was the then Asian ASAA president. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us. She passed away. Later, Professor T. Vijay Kumar of our department became the president of ASAA, and I became the secretary ASAA. Next, fast forward to 2017, I attended the Gyan program at Mangalore University, where Dr. Cynthia was the resource person, and our bonding started there and has grown day by day. Now she calls us, me and Professor Vijaya, her Indian daughters. Next, we come to the year 2020, when Kiran Dolan, who is now the Australian president of ASAA, participated in the Hyderabad Literary Festival, and Professor T. Vijay Kumar is one of the directors. See how things are connected. During this visit, Kiran met the then head of the department, Professor C. Murli Krishna, and Chair BOS, Professor Y.L. Srinivas, and this meeting and later communication resulted in an online lecture series between November 2020 and May 2021. There were about 6 lectures during the COVID pandemic, and later the lecture series was brought out as a book in the year 2023 with Kiran Dolan and Professor C. Murli Krishna as editors. Andrew Collister, the Australian Vice Consul, visited OU in September 2021 and August 2024, and we received gifts of books and art from the consulate to strengthen the ties and assistance towards establishing a Center for Australian Studies in the Department of English, an informal one. UWA, University of Western Australia, too gifted a number of books on Australian literature to the centre. All this further led to the signing of an MOU between Osmania University and University of Western Australia. And in all this, Dr. Cynthia's role is of immense significance. She is not able to be here today, though we had invited her, we wanted her to be here, but she had other engagements. Dr. Cynthia van den Driesen, chair of the Advisory Council and founder member of ASAA, tirelessly urged the importance of academic linkages in the humanities between Australia and India, and has been the key person who has been instrumental in promoting University of Western Australia's partnership with Osmania University. As part of that MOU, Professor Vijaya and I went to the UWA as visiting fellows in April 2025, and once again, Dr. Cynthia was instrumental in facilitating our visit to UWA and provided accommodation on behalf of ASAA. Dr. Kiran Dolan, President ASAA Australia, was instrumental in working out all the details of our visit and stayed with us throughout. Thank you, Kiran, for that. And we met Professor Tony there, who is here with us today. Thank you, Kiran and Tony, for making this happen, and we formed a friendship. More than, Dr. Cynthia always used to say, these academic conferences will lead to not only professional relationships, but also personal relationships, which has happened in our case. And now I must gratefully acknowledge the generosity of Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate, and today's chief guest, who has played a key role in facilitating the visit of Julie Jansen by funding her visit and stay in India. Heartfelt thanks to you, Harriet. These are the plural pasts that have shaped the present conference. And hopefully this conference will facilitate shared futures between not only UWA and OU, but also with other universities in Australia, with the assistance of the Australian Consulate and our beloved Vice Chancellor, who has a vision of establishing offshore campuses of Osmania University and exploring faculty, researcher, and student exchanges as well as twinning programs. He has constantly supported and encouraged our efforts in organizing this conference. Thank you, sir. And sir, I'm sure this conference will certainly contribute towards furthering a step in this direction, and we look forward to your support in all our future endeavors. Now, the theme that unites us, plural pasts, shared futures, global literary interconnections, is not merely an academic topic. It is an urgent call to action in a world that needs literature now more than ever. Your presence, representing diverse institutions, different contexts, and varied approaches, is the strongest affirmation of this theme. Your presence here today also underscores the commitment to collaboration and the belief that our greatest challenges can only be met with collective wisdom. We gather here today to celebrate and critically examine the multiplicity of human stories. The conception of this conference emerged from a shared recognition that in our increasingly interconnected yet polarized world, literature serves as the most powerful crucible of empathy. We need to move beyond national literary canons and linguistic silos to explore the ways narratives travel, transform, and connect us. Foster a critical hopefulness that by understanding the complexity of our plural past, colonial, post-colonial, subaltern, and dominant, we can consciously shape shared, equitable futures. We want this conference to be a starting line, not a finish line, to ensure the enduring consolidation of our relationship. Let us use the 3 days to listen intently, challenge respectfully, and commit wholeheartedly to the common good. Let us work towards the development of new pedagogies and curricula that prepare the next generation of students to be global citizens through literature. An undertaking of this magnitude is never the work of one person. It is the triumph of many dedicated hands, hearts, and minds. I thank each one and every one of you for your contribution and support. Thank you all for making the journey intellectually and geographically to be here. Let us dedicate these 3 days to embracing complexity, fostering genuine dialogue, and translating our shared intellectual energy into concrete, collaborative outcomes. By listening to the echoes of our plural past, we gain the wisdom to write our shared futures. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam. I now invite Professor B. Vijaya, convener of this conference, as well as Head Department of English, Osmania University, and as well as the Director, Center for Australian Studies, Osmania University. Please, Madam.
Because of my height, there are so many arrangements that are made. Distinguished guests on the dais, Chief Guest of today's gathering, Ms. Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate-General, Bengaluru. Guests of honor, Julie Jansen, Australian Aboriginal author, Bama, Tamil Dalit author, Professor Tony Hughes, Chair of Australian Literature, English and Literary Studies, School of Humanities, University of Western Australia, Dr. Kiran Dolling, Senior Honorary Research Fellow, University of Western Australia, and President ASAA. President of today's gathering, Professor Kumar Mulugaram, Vice Chancellor, Osmania University. On behalf of him, Professor Jitendra Kumar Nayak, Officer on Special Duty to Vice Chancellor. Special invitee of today's program, Professor C. Kasim, Principal, University College of Arts and Social Sciences. My dear colleague, Professor Parimala Kulkarni, who is a convener, and also Dr. Ashok, Deputy Convener of this conference. All the senior teachers who are present here from the Department of English, Professor Rama Nair, Professor Tirupati Kumar, and Professor Murali Krishna in person who are present here, and Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor Talat Sultana, Professor Raju Nayak from IFLU, Dr. Deepa Jyoti, and all my colleagues from the department here, and distinguished delegates from almost, I think, 23 states of India. We have received papers for this conference. And there is one friend of Dr. Swati who is here as an international delegate there. Ms. Harriet was asking us if there are any international delegates. Sorry, there is one international delegate who is here for this particular conference. And my dearest students and Professor Christopher, who is in the audience. Welcome you all for this 3-day international conference on plural past, shared futures, global literary interconnections. About the conference and about ASAA, and the history of this conference is told in detail by my colleague Professor Parimala. So I will not go into the details of all those things. And as a head, it is my obligation and it is also my responsibility to inform the delegates on the days here about our department. Hence, I will take only 3.5 minutes, and within that I will be concluding my inaugural address. Distinguished guests on the days, as a head of the department, I would like to share the rich academic legacy of the department. The Department of English was started in 1918, and Osmania University was also started in 1917. So the department is as old as Osmania University, with Professor N.G. Wellinger as its first head Department of English, and we offered only intermediate courses when it started. It has introduced its undergraduate courses in 1921. The MA English programs were started in 1937 and MPhil programs were started in 1973. And the first PhD degree that was conferred from the Department of English was in 1965. In addition to Arts College, we also offer MA English courses at 3 different constituent colleges: Nizam College, University College for Women, now called as Women's University, Chakali Ailamma Women's University, which was part of the Constituent College of Osmania University, where only women students are studying there. We have Postgraduate College Secunderabad and 13 affiliated colleges. I'm sorry. The department was the first in India to offer American literature in 1956 to 57. The department was also first to offer general linguistics with spoken English in 1972, and that gave rise to the Department of Linguistics here, if I am not wrong, and the Commonwealth literature started in 1978 in its MA programs. Osmania University English Forum, which was started in 1960, and it regularly conducts very important academic discussions. And Osmania Journal of English Studies was launched in 1962. That brings out the general and the special numbers. The department also has an English language cell, and it started in 1973 after the UGC sanctioned the English Language Training Center in 1988. And all the activities of the language cell were taken by ELTC. Excuse me. The department was awarded the UGC Special Assistance Program in 2009. UGC is the higher education policy making body for the Government of India that has sanctioned a special assistant programs to Department of English in 2009, and it has successfully completed its UGC program in 2 phases. That is in 2014 first phase and 2020 the second phase. And we have eminent scholars in the department like Professor Hussain Ali Khan, Professor Syed Abdul Latif, Professor M.S. Doraiswamy, Professor Shiv K. Kumar. He was also a Padma Bhushan awardee. Professor Isaac Sikwera, Professor M. Shivaramakrishna, Professor Satyanarayan Singh, Professor R.S. Sharma, and Professor C. Vijayashree. Professor M.S. Doraiswamy was the Vice Chancellor of Osmania University from 1955 to 57. Professor Shiv K. Kumar, who retired as the in-charge Vice Chancellor of the University of Hyderabad in 1980. Professor Sunainu Singh was the Vice Chancellor of English and Foreign Languages University from 2012 to 17. And she was also the Vice Chancellor of Nalanda University in 2017. Professor E. Suresh Kumar was Registrar of Osmania University and was also the Vice Chancellor of English and Foreign Languages University. And in Department of English, we have Fulbright scholars, Professor Isaac Sikwera from University of Utah, Professor Radhesham Sharma, University of California, who did their Fulbright in these universities, and Professor Meera Manvi, Howard University, Washington, Professor Uma Alladi, Yale University, Professor Sukhbir Singh, University of Chicago, Professor Venkatesh Farlu, Brandeis University, Professor Siddiq Ali, Massachusetts University. We also have UK scholarships and fellowships that are taken and there was an academic assignment that was given from the department teachers like Professor Radhesham Sharma as a British Council Scholar, Professor Gopal Rao again as a British Council Scholar, Professor T. Vijay Kumar as Charles Wallace Trust Fellow, UK, and Professor E. Nageshwar Rao as a Fellow, East-West Center, Hawaii, USA. In our department, we also have teachers who did translation works, and we have author Bama here who is translated into English. So there are a lot of literatures that needs global attention, and in our department, we have teachers who did that translation work. Professor Syed Sirajuddin, Persian, Urdu and Italian languages, translations with reference to these languages. Professor Taqi Ali Mirza in French and Urdu. Professor Shiv K. Kumar, again Urdu. Professor Bhargavi Rao, Kannada. All these are Indian languages except Italian and Professor Bhargavi Rao in Kannada. Professor Tutun Mukherjee, Bengali. Professor C. Vijayashree and Professor T. Vijay Kumar in Telugu. We have notable scholars like Professor E. E. Spate, Professor F. G. A. Harding, Professor M. S. Doraiswamy. The department has notable alumni like Professor M. V. Krishna Rao, IPS officer, Professor John Mutyala, Project Director of Digital Humanities Initiative, University of Southern Maine, USA, Professor Y. L. Srinivas, who is the present Vice Chancellor of Samakka Saraka Central Tribal University and was also an executive member of NAC. Professor Sunaina Singh and Professor Suresh Kumar as Vice Chancellors of IFLU, and also Professor Sunaina as Nalanda University Vice Chancellor, and we have Sri Syed Omar Jalil as IAS Secretary to Telangana State Board of Intermediate Education. There are distinguished visitors in the department like David Daches, Elsie Knights, MC Bradbrook, George Hill, William Golding, Raja Rao, John Beer, Mulk Raj Anand, Salman Rushdie, Jayant Mahapatra, Gugiwa Tiango, and Robert J.C. Young, post-colonialism and all this. And there are a lot of PhD awardees in the department. As of now, 312 scholars are awarded from the Department of English. We have American Studies Research Center, ASRC, which is now called as Osmania University Center for International Studies, which was also an important research center that was associated with the Department of English. And ASRC stands as the second largest library in Asia, where the academicians from US, along with their families, were deputed as full-time directors for ASRC. Department has also conducted a one-month residential training program for the undergraduate tribal students of the Telangana state. Tribes are like aboriginals in Australia. And this was graced by the Honorable Governor of Telangana, Sri Jishnudev Verma, and also with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M. Kumar. And of course, Professor Parimala already told, Center for Australian Studies. We thank all our former heads of the departments who significantly contributed in their own ways for the Department of English to grow in such an academic manner. And especially, I place on record Professor Y. L. Srinivas sir and Professor C. Murali Krishna sir, in whose tenure the initiative of lecture series happened between India and Australia. That made Osmania University to enter into an MOU with University of Western Australia, with which we could conduct this particular conference this morning. As a present head, I can proudly say that the last international conference was conducted during Professor Ramanaya's time in 2010. And ma'am, we are proud to say that women chairing the heads will make a difference. And after a gap of 15 years, we are conducting this another international conference in the Department of English. I thank all my colleagues in the Department of English for their earnest efforts towards this conference, especially my colleague Professor Parimala Kulkarni, Chair, Board of Studies, Department of English, Professor K.W. Christopher, Dr. Ashok, and Dr. Devi. I thank the Australian High Commission, Bengaluru Division, for their support for today's conference. I also thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for his continuous support to the Department of English for all the academic activities that are taken in the department. I also thank Mr. Andrew Collister, Miss Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate-General, for sponsoring Julie Jansen, Australian Aboriginal author, and we acknowledge the presence of Tony Hughes, Professor Kiran Jolin, Miss Steffi Cherian. I didn't see her, she said she is part of that. I also thank Professor Tania, the head of the Department of English, University of Western Australia, and my sincere thanks to Bama, a renowned author whose works are very often prescribed on the syllabus of Indian universities in higher education, for her acceptance and presence in today's conference. And I thank Jitendra sir on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, who is gracing this occasion this morning. And as a result of all these academic efforts, in our present revision of syllabus, we could make out of, in 96 credits, we have included Australian literature as an elective paper. With the encouragement of our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Professor Kumar sir, Osmania University is active under the component of internationalization of Indian universities and working towards three important aspects. Number one, twinning program. Number two, semester abroad program. And number three, short-term courses. As Osmania University stands as a feeder university with more than 3.2 lakh students across 720 affiliated colleges. And it has a significant number of international students on campus, and these students are from 44 countries with strong alumni, and hence we wish to strengthen OU and UWA MOU. And that's the reason we requested our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir. Sir is not well, and that's the reason sir is here, and we would be meeting him after the keynote address. Above all, I conclude by sincerely thanking Professor Cynthia Vandrin, ASAA founder and former professor at University of Western Australia, who was a strength behind most of the Australian conferences that are held in India, and especially today's conference. Most of the Indian academicians were the beneficiaries of our hospitality, including, as Professor Parimala said, Indian daughters. She calls us Indian daughters, and we were also the beneficiaries of her hospitality in the recent visit to University of Western Australia. Cynthia ma'am, we thank you very much, and we miss your presence here. We wish to see you in our next conferences. I thank all the delegates who came from different parts of our country, our registrar sir, our OSD sir, heads of the departments, chairpersons of the departments who are present here, principal of the college, Professor Qasim sir, faculty members, non-teaching staff, and all my dearest students who could make this academic event to happen. I thank Lakshminarayan sir, who is present here with lot of passion. Sir is here, and I thank Dr. Madhavi and Dr. Konda, who are also part of the Department of English, and Dr. Raghu, EMRC, and Professor Shagufta from Manu. Ma'am, you are in the audience, so I am sorry. I sincerely thank each one of you who is present here, in spite of all the pain that we have undergone until yesterday. You know, day before yesterday we went to our home at 1 o'clock night. Yesterday we went at 10 o'clock night, and in spite of all the difficulties, we could make this happen. Thank you very much, and happy learning.
Thank you very much, madam. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor Kumar Mulivaram is not here, so I request our OSD to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jitendra Naik, to speak. Welcome, sir. Good morning to all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor C. Qasim, Principal of University College of Arts and Social Sciences,
Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor Talas Sultana Madam, and Head Department of English, and also convener of this conference, Professor B. Vijay Madam, and also Professor Parmila Kulkarni, Chairperson Board of Studies of English Department, and also one of the convener of this conference, and Dr. B. Ashok, co-convener of this conference, and the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Karen Dolin, Senior Honorary Research Fellow, President of ASAA, then Professor Tony Hughes, Chair of Australian Literature, English and Literary Studies, School of Humanities, University of Western Australia, Ms. Bama, Tamil Dalit writer, Ms. Julian Johnson, Aboriginal Australian author, and Ms. Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate-General, Bengaluru, and senior faculty of the department. I could able to see whom I know. I think Professor Rama Nair Madam, Professor Murli Krishna Garu, Professor Lakshmi Narayana Sir, and Professor Sangeeta Madam, and Professor Raju Naik from IFLU, and I think Professor Savin Sauda, Professor Savitri Madam, and other esteemed faculty of the Department of English, research scholars, students, non-teaching fraternity of the department, and print and electronic media. At the outset, I deemed it to be privileged to stand in front of you on this morning to speak on this occasion, where I got an opportunity because due to ill health of our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, and also preoccupation, he didn't turn out this program, and he has been nominated me to attend this program and representing him. So I am here. I'll take this opportunity to compliment and congratulate on behalf of Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Kumar Mulgaram Garu, and also on my own behalf, the entire department faculty, especially both the conveners as well as the co-convener, where they have taken a keen interest and tried for this conference, a 3-day international conference with an important title, that is Plural Past, Shared Futures, Global Literary Interconnections, which is the need of the hour. I think the theme of the conference has been well put forward by Professor Parmila Kulkarni Madam in her opening remarks. And nothing to say something about that, but I think you all know that this the language is a barrier, a connecting media, where we can able to express our feel, express our thoughts, and express everything. I think this is the medium which is going to be established in interconnections with the society and the world and one-to-one human. So I think the department might have been taken well care about the entire program, wherein the young brains sitting here, particularly the scholars as well as the students, are going to get benefit out of this 3-day congregation, where you could have going to get an opportunity to interact with the eminent personalities who are going to be here, came over here to deliver their, deliver and share their experiences and their expertise. So I think you are the fortunate enough to that you got in a platform where you can explore the platform and try to learn the things and what exactly happening in the literature which is connecting to the global across. So apart from that, I'm so glad that Department of English is doing, past a year, I am also a witness the things and the events which has been taken up by this university, the department. I think as rightly Madam mentioned, that there was a program for training program targeting the deprived sections or marginal sections of the society, particularly from Telangana state, cutting across all the districts, where they brought trained the children in this language, which has been sponsored by, I think, Honorable Governor of this state, and I think he was the chief guest on that day. Apart from that, there are many programs has been conducted by the department, and I think this is one of the major department, major conference during this period. I'm sure this conference is definitely going to be a big success, and you're all going to learn the changes, and particularly the language, how it has been taken a transformation from ages to now, the future. And also this all depends how much you gain from this conference, from your existing knowledge to that should be carried forward to your future. rightly mentioned, like plural past to learning from your past and your plural, as well as which might have been going to inculcate something much better information input in the language arena, going to be trained and nurtured in a different way, where you can able to have your own impression in the literary world. So with these few remarks, I take an opportunity to once again congratulate and compliment the entire Department of English who has been taken this marking step ahead to cater the requirements of this literary world, and congratulations to the entire department, and hope your stay and your journey is going to be fruitful, particularly to these young children who are sitting in these August gatherings. And once again, I thank the organizers who has been given me opportunity to stand in front of on this morning, and thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Kiran Dolin, Senior Honorary Research Fellow, University of Western Australia, Perth, and President of Association for the Study of Australasia and Asia, to speak. Please welcome, sir.
Distinguished guests on the dais, colleagues, students, delegates to this conference. Thank you to the previous speakers for the very warm words of welcome. I'd particularly like to thank Professor Parimala and Professor Vijaya for their generous welcome to us at the airport in the middle of the night. On Sunday night, to Tony and myself, and also to the other committee members for all of the work of organising this conference, and for their very thoughtful help where we are staying in the university guest house. We've been very well looked after, and I appreciate it very deeply. It's a pleasure to be back both in Hyderabad and at Osmania University. I have very fond memories of my first visit here in January 2020, when I came over for the Hyderabad Literary Festival and met Professor Parimala there, and with her I was conveyed over here to OU and into this wonderful, beautiful building. To meet Professor Murali Krishna and Professor Y.L. Srinivas, and at that meeting we discussed the possible linkage between our two universities. And as you've heard from Professor Parimala and Professor Vijaya, that linkage has prospered to the point where we are now, firstly earlier this year, we were privileged at UWA to have Professor Vijaya and Professor Plural visit us on our campus and be able to show them our campus and our department, and hear their work in the context of our department research seminar. And also, yes, the other events that have been already described. And now this conference. And so it's wonderful, as has already been said, to see the strength of that link going forward this year. On behalf of ASAA, I got a bit enthusiastic and I lean into the microphone, so apologies for the shrieking. ASAA was formed in the late 90s, and it was the idea originated at a Commonwealth Literature Conference. And it has the aim of promoting dialogue between Australian scholars who are interested in Asian studies and Asian scholars who are interested in Australian studies. And over the last almost 30 years, it has held numerous conferences, and books have come out of those conferences. And above all, I think, as Professor Parimala has said, friendships have been formed across different countries of the world. It's a transdisciplinary society, not just literary studies, but history, economics, politics, across the humanities and social sciences. And one of the things that became apparent when Professor Vijaya was just the importance that they saw in this relationship, because so many of the inter-university relationships at UWA are in the science and technology field, and so ours is one of the rare ones, and so it's really valued highly at UWA. And so I think well done to Osmania University for coming on into this MOU with us. So the subject of this conference, Plural Past, Shared Futures, Global Literary Interconnections, is absolutely central to ASAA and the aims that it had both at its beginning and it still does. And so ASAA is very proud to be a co-sponsor of this conference, and Dr. Cynthia van den Driesen, who has been previously mentioned by both Professor Bruno and Professor Vijaya, is unable to be here, but she sends her best wishes, and she is one of the founding figures of ASAA, and also a truly energising force in her own right in promoting this conference. So what I'd like to conclude on is just the point that comes back to our discipline, I suppose, which is literature's ability to offer windows into other worlds for readers, to enable readers to understand from the inside other societies and other cultures. And I believe that this has never been more important than it is in today's world. And so I look forward to our discussions and our exchanges in this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Professor Tony Hughes-Dave, Chair of Australian Literature, School of Humanities, University of Western Australia, Perth, to speak. Please welcome, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for coming today. I'm delighted to be here. It's a great honour. It's my first time visiting India. It's really a pleasure to be in this wonderful building and this wonderful lecture room. I'd like to thank particularly all the people who've made it possible. I'll thank them briefly since they've been thanked a lot already, but I'd like to thank Cynthia, who was the person that I first heard about Osmania University from, and as Kieran said, she is a force of nature, someone to be truly reckoned with, and she'd been encouraging me to be involved in this for a long time, and it took a while for the opportunity to arise. It began, as people mentioned, with a lecture series in 2020 during the COVID period. We all, there was I think 6 or 7 of us who gave lectures on a fortnightly or monthly basis over that period, alternating between the University of Western Australia and Osmania, and that those lectures culminated in a book that was published in 2023. One thing I would say about those lectures is if you look at them, they had many of those lectures are characterised by the same theme as this conference. In other words, they were to do with interconnections. So each of us spoke, and there was Professor Murali Krishna and Professor Srinivas, Professor Parimala was a speaker as well. And what stood out for me was that each of the papers wasn't interested in a narrow topic. It had a specific topic. It might have been chick lit, or it might have been the emergence of English as a language in India. But all of the topics were interested in how this connected to the rest of the world. So I think that was a really distinctive element. That wasn't something that was part of the instructions. It's just that the participants in that seminar series immediately and intuitively gravitated towards speaking in a way that made connections. So I think that ethos and that spirit has found expression in this conference around the themes. But looking through all the wonderful papers that I can see in the program, there's a lot of comparative literature. So not just looking at one book, but comparing one book with another. And as a number of people have said, it's quite possible to take that capacity to compare your experience to another for granted. Literature does offer, as a number of people have said, a capacity to allow us to understand other people. I have to go closer. I have to go further. All right. So I'm excited. I've got a talk to give, but actually the main reason I come to conferences is to listen. So I'm looking very much forward to listening to the wonderful papers that are before us, and I look forward to speaking to you again at the end of the conference and seeing what we've all found out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Ms. Bama, Tamil Dalit writer. Madam, please speak. Please welcome, madam.
Excuse me for sitting and addressing to you because of my work. Now, I feel it privileged to have been invited to this international conference. This thought-provoking title, Plural Past, Shared Future, Global Literary Interconnections. I think this is a topic, for our survival today against great odds. It is high time that we make sense of our past, discover the common threads that run through our plural past, to listen together to the still sad music of humanity that make up our plural past, and reimagine a more humane, sustainable, livable, and worth-living future for all of us. Lest our present and futures are swallowed and extinguished by the new hegemonies and the new results that are emerging. And we know that literature has a crucial role, it will play a crucial role in this connection. I am sure that the objective of this international conference is to promote and facilitate this global literary interconnections. As for me, I come from a rural area, a remote village in Tamil Nadu, trying to reroute myself in the life of my people, far from all hassle and bustle learn a lot from this conference and from all of your interactions. I congratulate the organizers and wish that seminar a great and grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. I now invite Ms. Julie Johnson, Aboriginal Australian writer, to speak. Please welcome, madam.
Thank you. Look at all your beautiful faces. I feel so privileged to be here. I love India. I've been here 4 times, so I'm very excited to have been invited back. In the language of my father's people, the Burrabarungal Darug Nation, Kwai Bidja, Jamna Payala Yanawi, let us all sit down and speak together. I just want to make a note about the song Waltzing Matilda, in case it was a bit foreign to people, that a jambak is a sheep and a billy is a kettle to boil water for Indian tea. So that might clarify a little bit of the mystery of the words of Waltzing Matilda. I am honoured to be invited to this conference in Osmania University. Thank you to the Department of English and also to the University of West Australia. It is a wonderful opportunity to experience the connections through literature that this conference offers. Thank you to the Department of Foreign Affairs from Australia for sponsoring me. As a playwright, poet and novelist, I am always inspired by the intercultural experiences that I have, and India holds a special place in the hearts of Australians. Some of our earliest intercultural mergings happened through a historical connection with camel owners who travelled in the 1830s by ship to South Australia with those highly valued animals that helped to open up the centre of Australia to communication. India is part of Australia's history. Today, the links to India for Australia are growing and much valued. We also share British colonisation, for better or worse. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be part of this marvellous conference.
Thank you very much, madam. I now invite our chief guest, Ms. Harriet White, Vice Consul, Australian Consulate-General, Bengaluru, to speak. Please welcome, madam.
Good morning, namaskaram, dignitaries, delegates and students. I promise I won't speak for long because I know you have an exciting but big 3 days ahead of you. I am so pleased to be joining you today at this conference organised by the prestigious Osmania University in collaboration with the University of Western Australia. My name is Harriet and I am the Vice Consul at the Australian Consulate-General in Bengaluru. The role of our office is to represent the Australian Government in the South Indian states of Karnataka and Telangana, and to deepen Australia's relationship with those 2 states across all sectors, from trade and our economic relationship to defence, sport, science, tech and innovation, education and art and culture. I would like to start by acknowledging Dr. Kieran Dolan and Professor Tony Hughes-Day, I think I said that right. Thank you both for your work deepening Australia's relationship with Osmania University and with India. I would also like to acknowledge Julie Jansen. Julie, thank you very much for being here. It is an absolute privilege to have such an accomplished author, poet and playwright in our presence. I would like to start by talking about a foundational pillar and one of the biggest success stories of Australia's relationship with India, education. The education relationship between our 2 countries is growing from strength to strength. We are very pleased to see and support deepening research collaboration between Australia and India, including in education hubs like Hyderabad. For a long time, we've had Indian students coming to Australia, and there are now more than 140,000 Indian students studying in Australia. But what is new is that Australian universities are coming to India. The University of Wollongong and Deakin universities were the first 2 foreign universities to set up branch campuses in India. and more are following in their footsteps, with several leading Australian universities having either announced plans or expected to announce plans for Indian branch campuses this year. Part of the role of the Australian Consulate-General is to tell Australia's story to India. That is the story of our modern diversity and the rich heritage of our First Nations people. Australia's foreign policy both projects and protects who we are. Australia is a pluralist nation where we welcome different races, religions, and views, united by each other's respect for humanity and for each other's right to live in peace. Half of the Australian population was born overseas or has a parent who was. When Australians look across the world, we see ourselves, just as the world sees itself reflected in us. 1 in every 25 Australians claims Indian heritage, our fastest growing and second largest diaspora community. There are many Australians who speak Hindi, Tamil or Telugu, Punjabi or Gujarati. Australians that celebrate Holi, Diwali, Eid or Christmas. And Indian origin Australians are a crucial part of Australia's social, cultural and political fabric. The strength of Australia's relationship with India is rooted in the human bridge that connects us, the people-to-people ties between our countries. India is one of Australia's most important relationships. We seek to grow that relationship on all levels: strategic alignment, complementary economies, and deepening our cultural ties. As the relationship between our nations grows, we seek to deepen our understanding of each other. That is why our office was so pleased to support the inclusion of an eminent Australian author such as Julie at this conference. Like India, Australia is home to one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world, extending over 60,000 years. Australia's First Nations peoples are some of the world's oldest artists, scientists, astronomers, and caretakers of land. As many of you will know, there are dark chapters in Australia's history, and these must not be forgotten. I thank authors like Julie for their work in preserving this history through their writing. As we work to deepen India's understanding of Australia and vice versa, it is important that First Nations narratives are part of that story. The Australian Government is committed to elevating First Nations voices and providing platforms to share culture, history and traditions with international audiences. I would like to finish by thanking Osmania University for organising and hosting what will be an excellent conference. Particular thanks must go to Professor Paramala and Professor Vijaya, who I know are the driving force behind this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. I now invite our Principal, C. Kashim, University College of Arts and Social Sciences, Osmania University, to speak. Please welcome, sir.
Respected guests, dear friends and students, Professor Parimala Kulkarni, Professor B. Vijaya, Professor Jitendra Nayak, OSD2 Vice Chancellor, Kiran and Darlin, Tony, Pama Madam, I am happy to see here, Madam. I read your book translated in Telugu, Karaku. It is very good book. You can see anywhere here, you can read also. And Julie's, Hari, other friends, senior professors. Dear friends, it is responsibility to me remembering our great poet recently we lost on this tree. And also his daughter here, she is your classmate also. This is a multi and plural legacy of Telangana because on this tree he did not study any degree, but he is a good poet in Telugu. He wrote one poem that is the today Telangana state poem, Telangana Geetam. This is the plural past, and also I am the student of Telugu, teacher of Telugu literature. I am speaking here in English. This is the plural past. Indian society, we have a great legacy, that is folklore literature and written literature. One of a great writer, he wrote Antarani Vasantam. How many you read here, I don't know. Antarani Vasantam, translated into Telugu to English, G. Kalyan Rao. He said, before that one book preface, మా అయ్య అల్లిన దాన్ని వానయ్య రాసిండు, మా అయ్య అల్లిన దాన్ని వానయ్య రాసిండు, అల్లిక అంటరానిదయ్యింది, రాత రాజై కూర్చున్నది. సో అల్లిక is the one of the tradition in Indian society. This is folklore literature. After some times, some days, Professor Ranganath Acharulu, he was the professor in Central University, a great scholar and a great writer, great critic. He said one book, one essay, తెలుగులో గొప్ప గొప్ప కవులందరూ, ఐ డోంట్ నో అదర్ లిటరేచర్, ఐ నో తెలుగు ఓన్లీ. తెలుగులో గొప్ప గొప్ప కవులందరూ జానపదుల్ని కాపీ కొట్టారు అని రాశాడు ఆయన, కేకే రంగనాథాచార్యులు. Anywhere folklore literature is there, in Australia, in America, in Canada, in England, anywhere. Folklore literature and written literature. Indian society, it is divided into many castes, divided into many races. That's why it is the plural, our past. But today, only one. In India, our rulers trying to make only one nation, only one culture, only one language, only one food, they are trying to make. So you should be identify multicultural. Here only, not only here, many countries multicultural existing there. So after many days, you know, First World War, Second World War. After First World War, the world divided into two parts. One is socialist part, second one is capitalist part. Literature also divided into two parts. Karl Marx influenced all world literature. Not only Telugu, English, all European literature also. So after that, America rulers thinking, what? Russian literature influenced all world, and also we are translating many more books from Russian literature. You know Gorky Amma, a famous book. Literature is the weapon to change in the society. It is the powerful weapon, according to Marx, according to Ambedkar, according to many others. So in this context, our English department people, our colleagues, as a principal I can say, English department is the vibrant department in this college. I seen from 10 years here as a teacher, as a principal, as an administrator, what I want, every teacher come to in time to the class and also teach to the student, not read seeing PPT presentation, not read PPT presentation. A creative teaching is the creative work, teaching is the creative art form. You know, yesterday I asked Vijay madam, what I will speak madam in your conference. She sent 2 paragraph, and Konda also sent 1 paragraph. But I cannot see. I cannot speak with paper. I cannot speak. It is my poet with only poetry book in my class also in 22 experience, only poetry book take with my hands and seeing the poem. Poem should be read, but any history of literature and criticism, all papers I can teach it like this only. So I want this type of teachers today, because globalization, today we have globalization. You have many reference books online, YouTube lectures. So you want other than YouTube lectures. So English teachers, English department, they are good teachers. You are the good students. Every day class started by 9 a.m. only to 1 o'clock. Not only teaching work and research work also, they did very well. So, sir, once again, I am welcome to all foreign delegates and our senior professors. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Beena madam. Bamu madam.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Dr. B. Ashok. Okay, so there will be some felicitation to the guests now. So,
As a token of appreciation from the Department of English, I now welcome our OSD to Vice Chancellor, Professor Jitendra sir, to felicitate the guests on the days. Thank you. I request the student participants, the committee, to please come forward.
To look down on you. I get to look down on you.
Yeah, of course.
हो गया हम भी जाएंगे David dance with his mind. Like dance मतलब actually dance. Should we dance in God's presence? Why? Because we
Dear students, before we part from here, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to you for elevating my heart this morning. As I entered here to this hall, I saw your great work displaying on my system and it brought back all the memories from my teaching career and writer and my visit to different places in the world and my award-winning function. Almost my life history was displayed over there, and all of a sudden when I saw that, within a fraction of a second, I traveled through all of those places. Then, I mean, we are corrected already. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, madam.
And I request the students who did that, please stand up in the audience.
Please.
Students who did that. The Bahamas, there are 6 students who are in the registration lesson who did that, and 2 of them are here. Thank you, dear students. I request all my students to stand up. I request all the participants to give a big round of applause for our dear students. All of us excellent candidates. Thank you very much. This could happen because of you only. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. I now invite Dr. B. Ashok, Deputy Coordinator, Center for Australian Studies, Osmania University, to speak. Please welcome, sir. He will give a formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all. Now it's time for vote of thanks. I would like to propose vote of thanks on behalf of our Department of English, Osmania University. Today's here chief guest, Miss Harriet White. Harriet White, madam, is a vice consul and Australian Consulate-General, Bengaluru, and the chief guest of honor, Julie Johnson, Burma, and Professor Tony Hughes, Dr. Kiran Dolin, and today's our president, Professor Jitendra Nayak sir, OSD, Osmania University, and then here our principal, Professor Qasim sir, Osmania University, Arts College, and our department faculty members, and here head of the department, Professor B. Vijaya madam, and Professor Parmala Kulakarni madam, BOS, and the rest of the other faculty members of our department, and the scholars and the participants of this plural pause and shared futures of your whatever the paper presentations, facts and fictions will be negotiated. I thank you one and all, and the rest of the other whatever the university faculty members of each and every state and central university and students of this inaugural session. Thank you one and all for being with us. Thank you one and all.
Dear participants, now we formally conclude the inaugural session, and after, please have your short tea and come back for the keynote address by Julie Jansen. It will be in the same room. And I request all my colleagues of the department and the dignitaries on the dais to join us for the high tea in the seminar room of the Department of English. Thank you very much.